But we don't want Trump to speak. I will talk about it. I will. They're not taking away my First Amendment right.
Fox News alert. The judge in Donald Trump's January 6th case just set a big trap for the former president. If you read the headlines, you'd believe that Judge Tanya Chutkan came out and ruled in Trump's favor on the state's proposed gag order, which would have completely barred him from discussing his case, documents, evidence, witnesses, the whole thing. Chutkan ruled that Trump is only barred from discussing sensitive information. Okay. Well, what constitutes sensitive information? Oh, nothing, just every single person interviewed by prosecutors, because they could be witnesses. Well, that's going to be a problem because Trump happens to be running a presidential campaign against Mike Pence. How is Trump going to debate Mike Pence if he can't talk about Mike Pence? Chutkan doesn't care. During the hearings today, she told Trump's attorneys this: the fact that he is running a political campaign currently has to yield to the administration of justice. And if that means he can't say exactly what he wants to say in a political speech, that is just going to how it's going to be have to. Adding that she'll be scrutinizing his statements very carefully. Do you really expect Trump to abide by these rules?
The case is a ridiculous case. It's a First Amendment case. But we don't want Trump to speak. So they take away your rights on First Amendment. Now they sue because, so now I have one of these lunatic reporters back there saying, sir, would like to talk to you about your case. Or, I'm sorry, I'm not allowed to talk about it. Somehow that's not good for votes. Do you agree? When we say I can't talk, I will talk about it. I will. They're not taking away my First Amendment right.
Trump's at his best when he's riffing off the cuff, obviously, and this order is just another attempt to keep him from speaking freely. Biden's Justice Department's already trying to lock him up in a courtroom from January until May. And anytime he steps out onto the trail, there's going to be a whole bunch of booby traps out there waiting for him. And that's the goal. Will Cain's a Fox and Friends weekend co-host. So, Will, what do you think the chances are that he busts through this gag order the first night on the trail?
100%. Sure bet, Jesse. Take it to the bank. And this will be a problem. This will be something for the judge to decide. Will I continue or will I be a participant in what's become lawfare? You know, it's true that you can restrict a defendant's speech, Jesse. You can say, look, a criminal trial takes precedent. And in normal circumstances, you would say, well, that shows the lack of wisdom in the original prosecutor, the DOJ, in going after Trump. You'd say, well, what a evidence of humility. Show some wisdom. You've compromised a political process by your pursuit of these weak charges. But I want to say this is not a normal situation. So what we're seeing play out is exactly as intended. It's not a lack of wisdom. It is purpose and intention. This is lawfare. This is using the justice system, the DOJ, the court system, to influence an election. If you could control, and good luck with actually implementing the control, but if you can control a candidate and what he says, then you can control the outcome of an election.
So Barr is also off limits. If you think about it, I'm sure he was interviewed by the January 6 investigators. And so Trump can never bring up the fact that Barr knocked out the Mueller situation. He can never bring up this fact. He can't even tout his record as Attorney General in his administration while running for office.
Yeah, you know, when it comes to, for example, Mike Pence, I'm not worried. I don't think anybody should be worried about the interaction between Donald Trump and Mike Pence on a stage. And I say I'm not worried because I'm someone who would be worried about interference in the political process, not rooting for a particular outcome. I don't think there's going to be anything that influences the chasm between Mike Pence and Donald Trump. But what happens is Mike Pence can lodge all types of accusations. He can tell a story that Donald Trump can't rebut, and that can affect him then in turn in his general against Joe Biden. You know, and same thing as you point out with Barr, you just can't address any of the other allegations that people make. But the real question will be in the gray area. To your point earlier, he's not going to abide by this. So then the judge is going to have to decide, how much am I going to get into the muck? How much am I going to sort out exactly all these statements and play referee in a political election, a presidential election?
It's unbelievable. I mean, the January 6th prosecutors probably interviewed Nancy Pelosi. So I guess Trump can't talk about Nancy Pelosi either.
Shots fired.
This is going to be a fun one.
Right.
Exactly.